Good evening, everybody, and welcome to LTSN for Game 1 of a men's-women's doubleheader, where the women's team will get the ball rolling against the Crusaders of Madonna here on this January Wednesday night. I'm Chase Kaufman here with you as we get set for some exciting college basketball. As Buckingham takes the early three and stuck in the rim just like that. We've got ourselves a game. All right, and now we're underway. LTU comes into this one 16-7 overall, 8-5 in the conference. There's an early turnover there for Madonna. Kendall Fisher getting the start, brings it up early. Out to Caitlin Smith. Long three, no good. Nicole Buckingham with the rebound. Gives it back to Klein, back to Buckingham. Caitlin Smith picks up the loose ball, gives it to Fisher on the outside. Madonna coming into today's game 0-20 overall, 0-12 in the conference. As Kendall Fisher drives and converts in the layup for the first point of the game. Sierra Von Zitwitz brings out the ball. A junior guard out of Utica, Michigan. And Bochanek starts off the Crusaders with an early basket. 2-2 now. Bochanek from Linden, Michigan, a sophomore forward. Madonna putting some early pressure on the Blue Devils. Fisher decides to slow it down a little bit. Still 14 seconds left on the shot clock. We'll have the graphics up soon for you. Smith takes a three and converts. Smith, an obvious deep threat for this Blue Devil team. And you'll probably see more of that tonight. There's Emily Huff giving it off to Bogart. And it's going to stay with the Crusaders. Last time these two teams matched up, it was on the 14th of November. LTU ended up winning that battle 65-37. But that score really doesn't show how well this Madonna team has improved lately. As Brown cannot convert on the layup, Buckingham brings it up the court. Madonna, even though they're 0-20, 0-12 in the conference, they just lost by virtue of a buzzer beater to Rochester just a few days ago. And that's one of the keys to today's game. You can't take this team lightly. They played against Siena Heights sometime last week. They lost by 16. However, it took Siena Heights about 3.5 quarters to finally pull away. As Sydney Brown attempts the three, no good there. LTU still up 7-2, about 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Gives it out to Klein. Klein gives it back to Smith. Finds an open Fisher. Fisher, the point guard of the team. Gives it into Rachel Price. Back out to Smith for the three. Smith now with 6 points early here in the first quarter. And LTU jumps out to an early head start, 10-2. 8-0 run in the last minute and a half for the Blue Devils. We got a no call there. As Zworski hits the floor. Or I'm sorry, Huff hits the floor. Price for three. She converts. So 3 early threes here from the Blue Devils gives them an early 11-point lead, and they're going to take a timeout. Madonna will, coached by head coach Rachel Steinbarger. Lawrence Tech leads early, 13-2. 6 minutes left in the first quarter. This is Lawrence Tech Sports Network. back after an early head start for the Blue Devils. Lead 13-2 right now. This Madonna team, a very young team, no seniors on the roster. Moving the ball very well right now. That's Sydney Brown for her first basket of the game. Fisher, a long pass to Caitlin Smith. From three, it's good again. Smith now 3 for 3 from the three-point line. And her stats do not lie. Such a deep threat from three. And she's shown it early here. And it's going to go back to the Blue Devils, leading 16-4, 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. As I was saying, this is a young Madonna team, even with the head coach, Rachel Steinbarger, just in her second year of coaching, went 10-19 last year, as Buckingham makes the easy layup. Naomi Davis gives it out to Von Zitwitz. Can't make the two. Fisher brings it up court. Brings it back out to Smith. She's had the hot hand early here. Smith gives it into Price. Back out to Fisher in the paint. And they're going to turn it over early here. It looks like Kendall Fisher is going to be called for a defensive foul there. Von Zitwitz gives it up to Davis. Davis, a freshman guard out of Battle Creek, Michigan. Very talented young player. Davis drives, gives it up. A shot there from Von Zitwitz, no good. Buckingham rushes up court, gives it out to Smith. Buckingham for the open three, no good. Rebound from Sydney Brown. Blue Devils lead 18-4, 6 minutes into the first quarter. And Huff converts on the pull-up jumper. Huff's first made field goal of the game. Smith again for three. No good this time. Last touch by Madonna. It's going to be Blue Devil ball. Couple of substitutions here for the Blue Devils. Emily Langoff, as well as Danielle Hansen. Hansen, a junior out of East Lansing. Langoff, a sophomore. Went to Macomb, Dakota. Fisher gives it in to Hansen. She scores early into the game for her. Early basket for Hansen as she just checked in. 20-6 lead for the Blue Devils now. Last time these two teams matched up, Buckingham led the team with 28 minutes, 19 points, and 11 rebounds. Or she was actually second on the team with 19 points. Kendall Fisher went 27 minutes, scored 20 points. Buckingham converts in the long two. Buckingham makes her second basket of the game. She's at 4 points now. Brown drives through the paint. And good defense there from Hansen. Able to force a missed shot. Offensive rebound, though, from Davis. Gives it in to Huff. Two-pointer, no good. Fisher drives it up court. Gives it out to Langoff. Danielle Hansen in the paint. Cannot make the layup. Von Zitwitz out to Davis. Back out to Brown. And Hannah Reinhold, she tried to go one-on-one in the paint. She's going to be called for a travel. Just over 2 minutes left here in the first quarter. Blue Devils lead the Crusaders 22-6. Claire LaRoe for the Crusaders currently not on the court. She went 28 minutes, led the team with 11 points back on the 14th of 2018. The Crusaders had their first matchup against the Blue Devils. Blue Devils with a couple offensive rebound. Langoff from three, no good. Offensive rebound, no more. Brown staying aggressive, draws a foul. It's going to be on Buckingham. Her first foul, team second. Lawrence Tech led the first game 39-18 at the half. Second half was a little bit more equal, as the Blue Devils still ended up winning by 28, but were up by 21 at the half. They were able to get their bench players in a little more than they're typically used to. Emily Langoff gets called for the foul there. And Brown driving to the hoop. It's going to be tipped by Buckingham. Brown's been a pretty aggressive player for this first quarter. 1 for 4 from the field, however. Madonna 3 for 13 from the field as a team. Emily Huff checks out of the game. Sheldon Bochenek comes back in. And there's Brown again, staying aggressive, able to draw a foul there, and she's going to go to the line for 2. Brown makes the first one. Rachel Price going to check in. Buckingham going to get a rest for this final minute of the first quarter. Couple of nice free throws there from Brown. 2 for 2 at the line now. Lawrence Tech has not scored in a couple of minutes. They're 0 for 4 on their last 4 field goal attempts. Taryn Klein open for 3 now. Off the rim. Offensive rebound there by Price. Langoff now with the ball at the top of the key. Drives the hole. And it's tipped off a Madonna player to stay with the Blue Devils. 40 seconds left here in the first quarter. Blue Devils lead 22-8. And Brown with the rebound. Lawrence Tech on a bit of a short losing streak. They just lost 51-45 to Indiana Tech as Madonna turns the ball over. Fisher with the ball, and looks like they're going to hold it for the last shot of the first quarter. The Blue Devils lost to Indiana Tech 51-45, as I just mentioned. They were down 25-14 at the half, but Fisher with the ball scored 11 of her 14 points in the third quarter. Taryn Klein with the deep 3. Blue Devils have been lethal from 3 today. And the deep shot off the rim, almost good, but the Blue Devils take an early advantage of a 25-8 lead here after 1. This is the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. And we are back for some second quarter action between the Blue Devils and the Crusaders. Klein takes an early three, in and out of the rim. Tough luck shot on that one. And Reinhold gives it up to Davis. Back to Brown. Now to Von Zitwitz at the top of the key. Thought about driving. Back to Davis. Now to Reinhold. Madonna moving the ball pretty well pretty early. And Bochenek converts on her basket in the paint. 25-10 now. Blue Devils lead. Madonna really working on a double team defense, but Langhoff gets an open look from three, and she converts. That's Langhoff's second made basket of the game. I'm sorry, first made basket of the game, first three. She's 1 for 2 from the field in her 5 minutes of work. Von Zitwitz no good from long, too. As I was saying before we left from the first quarter, the Blue Devils lost to Indiana Tech just a few days ago, 51-45. And the Warriors finished off the Blue Devils with a 16-4 scoring run. As the Blue Devils get called for an offensive foul there. That's Rachel Price. So the Warriors beat the Blue Devils 51-45 by virtue of a 16-4 scoring run. So that definitely hurt. Blue Devils have lost 3 of their last 4 against some tough teams, each of them by single digits. They lost to Siena Heights, Indiana Tech, and Aquinas, all of whom are ahead of the Blue Devils in the standings. However, they also beat U of M Dearborn and Rochester earlier in the season. So the Blue Devils have shown that they can compete with teams with a better record than them. Unfortunately, just did not go their way the last 3 losses. Caitlin Smith checks back in here for the Blue Devils. Rachel Price going to take a break. Reinhold at the line for her second. Misses them both. Fisher brings it up quickly. Out to Klein for the easy 2-point layup. Blue Devils with an early lead, 30-10. Still working on getting the scoreboard put up. But I'll do my best to let you know what the score is and how many minutes there are left in each quarter as we go along. And a turnover here from the Warriors. Foul going to be called on Emily Huff. Reinhold going to get a break as Von Zitwitz comes back in. Fisher, the main point guard of the team, gives it up to Klein, back to Fisher. To Hansen, out to Langhoff for another 3. Does not go down, though. That would have been Langhoff's second 3 early here in the second quarter. And a nice pass, but Bochenek cannot convert on the 2-point layup. Fisher drives it up early, gives it out to an open Klein, does not take it. Hansen does, however. Nothing there. 7.5 minutes left here in this second quarter. 30-10 lead for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils shooting 46% from the field as compared to Madonna's 24%. Brown's had the ball a lot here early. Sydney Brown gives it out from a long 3 from Claire Leroux. No good, though. Leroux, the leading scorer in the last matchup between these two teams with 11 points. Fisher with a nice drive down the lane. It's going to be her second basket of the game, 2 for 2 from the field. Each of the women on the floor right now for the Blue Devils have scored. Caitlin Smith leading with 9. She had 3 early threes made in the first quarter. And Fisher drives up for a 3-on-3 run here. Gonna hold up though. Klein gives out to Langhoff, out to Smith for the 3, and of course she's gonna shoot it. And of course she converts. 35-10 lead here for the Blue Devils. Smith now 4 for 5 from 3, 4 from 6 from the field. 12 points in 10 minutes. Kendall Fisher having herself a nice game with 4 rebounds, 3 assists. There's Emily Huff for 2. 35-12 now, Blue Devils. And there's Danielle Hansen with her second made basket of the game, now 2 for 6 from the field. Madonna coming off a tough loss against Rochester College. Rochester, no easy team to beat. They lost to them 73-72 off a buzzer beater. Madonna was up 7 with 4 minutes left to play, but could not take the win. Quite a few WAC matchups tonight. Rochester visiting Cornerstone. Fisher with another made basket there. That's 6 for her in the game. Lawrence Tech 3 for 3 on their last 3 field goal attempts. Other matchups, Lawrence is going to play at Wright Stake late. Siena Heights at U of M Dearborn. And there's Sheldon Bochenek with 2 points in the paint. Fisher gives it out to Smith. Throws it into Hansen, out to Langhoff for a deep 3. Nothing there, though. Emily Huff with the rebound. Huff out of Waterford, Michigan, a freshman guard. And a nice pass in there to Von Zitwitz, and she makes the layup. 39-16 Blue Devil lead. Just under 5 minutes left here in the second quarter. You see our scoreboard up and working now. And Hansen with a nice look there to Fisher. Fisher now 4 for 4 from the field. And there's Von Zitwitz with another easy layup there. We had the top 25 poll released just last night, the 4th of 7. Lawrence Tech still not in the top 25, but they did receive a couple votes.
Into the game for the Blue Devils, number 10, Alex Ruster.
Alex Ruster now in for the Blue Devils. Emily Langhoff going to get a well-deserved break. Hannah Reinhold also checks in for the Crusaders. Emily Huff sits down. Von Zitwitz brings it up. Gives it out to Bogart. We haven't seen much of her yet today. And a poor turnover there from the Crusaders. 41-18 favor the Blue Devils. There's an early basket from Ruster as well. As soon as she comes in, she makes the quick 2. Blue Devils now with a 25-point lead. Quite the commanding lead. We're going to get a foul on Caitlin Smith. Smith with 12 points. Lawrence Tech shooting a whopping 55% from the field, 50% from 3. Three-point try there, no good from Leroux. Leroux still scoreless. She led the team in points in the last matchup. Fisher keeps that out up top. Slows down the pace. 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Kaylin Smith out. Gives it to Hansen, who converts on the 3. Blue Devils been absolutely lethal from 3. And another turnover here from Madonna. And we're going to get a timeout here from Coach Biggs. However, the Blue Devils with a commanding lead, 46-18, 2.5 minutes left here on the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. With just over a couple minutes left to play in the first half. Hanson, a long pass out to Ruster. Back to Ruster, now to Smith. Hanson with a couple points in the paint there. Hanson, a junior out of East Lansing, Michigan. 5'11" forward. Bogart with the ball, drives in the paint. Draws the foul, though, there from Fisher. She's going to go to the line. Bogart converts on the first one. And on the second, a freshman guard out of Southgate, Michigan. Fisher brings it up the court. Gives it to Hanson. Hanson looking to drive. Cannot convert, though. Deep pass up ahead. And that's Bochenek. 48-22 lead now for the Blue Devils. Hanson dominating in the paint right now. Blue Devils projected to finish second in the WAC. However, it's been a very competitive WAC conference this year. U of M Dearborn with a huge improvement. Siena Heights with an improvement. And Indiana Tech, still the powerhouse they were last year. Madonna cannot get the three to drop. Smith brings it up now. Gives it out to Ruster. Ruster looks to drive. Double team. Smith open. Back to Klein, who's also open. And her three is good. Lawrence Tech absolutely crushing it from the field right now. 22 of 38 for 58% from the field. 9 for 16 from three. And that hustle there by Bogart going for the offensive rebound. It's going to pay off. Had a couple Blue Devils in the paint there. Neither of them boxed out. And Bogart took the opportunity and ran with it. And they're going to see if they can get on the board in these last 20 seconds. We're going to get a charge called here on Reinhold. And the Blue Devils are going to take the last possession. I'll get you some around the league scores when we come back from halftime. Blue Devils with a commanding lead, 31 points. Fisher brings it up slowly. She's 4 for 4 from the field. She's played every minute here tonight, 20 minutes. You got to think she's going to get a rest sometime in the second half, considering that they're up 30. And Ruster drives and scores in the last second. And Madonna unable to get a shot off. So Lawrence Tech with a great first half there. Shot 56% from the field. 9 for 16 from three. And Lawrence Tech leads 55-22 after the first half. This is the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. And we are back here for some second half action between the Crusaders and the Blue Devils. Blue Devils won the first half by a score of 55-22, leading by 33. As Bogart cannot make the early layup, Fisher drives down quickly out to Smith for an open three. No good from Smith. Now for Klein for an open three, and she makes it. That's Klein's third three-point field goal of the game. 3 for 5 now, 4 for 7 from the field with 11 points. She's played 19 minutes in this game. Smith, Klein, and Hansen all in double digits scoring now. All 8 players who have hit the court for the Blue Devils have some points on the board for themselves, as Nicole Buckingham able to pick up an early turnover. Klein with the ball, gives it out to Fisher at the point. Fisher gives it to Buckingham. Haven't seen much of Buckingham today. Buckingham 2 for 5 from the field, has 4 points. And Klein with another three. Blue Devils just pounding down these three-point shots. 11 for 19 now from 3. As I was speaking of Buckingham, only 4 points from the field. Hasn't played too much this game, just 10 minutes. She leads the WAC, though, with an average of 16.8 points per game. Ranked 8th in the nation, scoring 386 points. And there's Bogart with a basket of her own. And it looks like they're going to call that a 2. And there's Buckingham, as we just mentioned. Gets her third basket of the game, now at 6. Also in 8th for defensive rebounds per game in the nation at 7.5. It's going to go back the Blue Devils' way. Haven't mentioned it, but the Blue Devils have won the last 4 against the Crusaders. And it looks like they're on their way to making it a 5th one in a row. Fisher out to Smith. Back to Fisher. Fisher gives it to Klein. Buckingham back out to Smith. And Buckingham's long two is no good. Crusaders have played some pretty solid defense at times, but there's just been times where they'll start double teaming someone. That leaves the open woman out on the edge. And the Blue Devils have converted on a lot of those threes. And another turnover here for the Crusaders. Crusaders with 10 turnovers. Lawrence Tech with just 2 turnovers. And typically what you see is the team that wins the turnover battle usually wins the game. As Buckingham muscles her way in the paint. Fisher from 3. Nothing there. And Bogart comes up with the rebound. Smith pressures her, but it's going to go back towards the Crusaders' way. Sydney Brown for the Crusaders starting off the third quarter on the bench. She played 17 minutes in the first half. 1 for 6 from the field. Was probably the most aggressive player the Crusaders had on the field, or on the court. Klein, no good on the 3. Smith with an offensive rebound. Brings it back out. Now Klein back with another 3, and she makes it. 12 for 22 now from threes for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils now with a 38-point lead. Still 16 minutes left to go in the game. Huff with the ball out at the top. Gives it to Von Zitwitz, back to Bogart. Bogart gives it to Bochenek. Bochenek with a long 2-point, and she makes it. Bochenek now in double digits. First to do so on the Madonna Crusaders team. She's 5 for 7 from the field. Pretty solid. You might take a look on the bench. You see CJ Banis. She is out for today's game. Price muscles her way in. Cannot make the layup, though. Bogart moves it up the floor quickly. Slows it down a bit. Gives it to Von Sitwitz. Back out to Huff. And Huff makes a nice driving layup. .40 lead here now for the Blue Devils. I don't think it'll be too much longer that the Blue Devils keep their starters out on the court if this continues. Price cannot make the long two. And we're going to get a foul call here. And it looks like it's going to be on number 14, Julia Bogart. It's actually going to be on Kirsten Chapman, number 32. Nicole Buckingham makes her first free throw of the game. Buckingham with 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 14 minutes of play. And drops the second. Blue Devils have played a pretty smart game here today. They've done the fundamentals right. They've boxed out, they got the rebounds, they've taken smart shots because they've had the open looks. And most importantly, they've made their free throws and have not turned the ball over very much. Fisher rushes up the court, gives it to Langoff. Langoff out to Smith. Gives it over to Fisher. Fisher drives for a nice 2-point layup there. Fisher now in double digits for the Blue Devils. That makes 4 Blue Devils now in double digits. Solid defense there from Buckingham as Emily Huff tries to drive. And as with that, Emily Huff's going to get a break, as well as Julia Bogart. Claire Leroux, Ashley Ringstad, both going to check in for the Crusaders. Gives it out to Leroux. Now to Von Zitwitz, out to Sheldon Bochenek. Nothing there, though. Buckingham slows it down, drives in an open lane. Cannot convert there. Leroux got back on defense quickly, able to come up with the defensive rebound. Gives it out to Ringstad. Leroux to Von Zitwitz. 2-point jumper, no good. Fisher out to Langoff. Langoff to an open Buckingham. Not good there, though. Layup, no good. Buckingham still stuck at 8 points. She's 3 for 11 from the field now. Chapman's jumper, no good. Offensive rebound there from Hansen. Gives it back out to Langoff. Back to Hansen. Out to Smith for the deep three, and she makes it. (73-28) Lawrence Tech now. 7-0 run in the last 2 minutes. I mentioned I'd give some around the league scoring updates. Rochester at Cornerstone. Rochester led that one 48-34 last I checked. Lords at Wright State Lake. Lords up 50-29. Siena Heights and U of M Dearborn in a good match. Siena Heights down just 1 to U of M Dearborn, 33-32. And I'll give you some more in just a minute. We're going to have a timeout from Lawrence Tech here. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Lawrence Tech leads 73-28. This is the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. back underway with just over 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. Blue Devils have played pretty well all day today. Now with a 75-28 lead with the and one there from Hansen. Hansen now with 13 points on the day. 6 for 11 from the field, 6 rebounds. And Hansen converts on the three-point play the old-fashioned way. Blue Devils holding the Crusaders at just 28 points right now. That continues the trend that they've had all year. They lead the nation in defense and scoring defense per game with just 51.6 points allowed per game. And I don't believe they're going to get to 51 here tonight either. Buckingham gives it out to Lang off the top of the key. Kendall Fisher finally going to get a well-deserved break. She went for 28 minutes. Alex Ruster also in. Gives it out to Klein, out on the corner. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. And Daniel Hansen drives in there for a layup, and it looks like we might have an injured Crusader here. That's number 12, Sierra Von Zitwitz. So Claire Leroux brings it up to court. And Hannah Reinhold's shot no good. Laying off brings it up to the top of the key. Gives it out to an open Taryn Klein. Tipped a little bit there by Madonna Crusader. But a quick turnover back again with Klein. Klein drives to the hole. Able to draw the foul. And Klein's going to go to the line for two. Klein at the line for two. Nails the first. Other scores from around the league. Concordia playing at Aquinas. Aquinas up 35-19. And the University of Northwestern Ohio traveled to Indiana Tech. And that game's a close matchup. 30-28, Indiana Tech leads it. Indiana Tech on top of the standings at 13-0 in the WAC. And UNOH at 4-8. So we got a close matchup there. Klein not able to convert on the second one. However, the Blue Devils now with a 51-point lead, just under a minute left here in the first, or in the third. Claire Leroux tried to drive to the hole, lost her handle. It's gonna go back to the Blue Devils. 45 seconds left here. Speaking of the standings, Indiana Tech on top at 13-0, followed by U of M Dearborn and Siena Heights. Both of them at 10-3 with Alex Ruster draining a three. It's Ruster's third basket of the game. She is 3 for 3 from the field, her first three-point field goal. And she has 7 now. And number 4, Sheldon Bochenek, is going to get an and one there with 15 seconds left in the third. Bochenek now with 12, looking to make it 13 points in today's game. Lawrence Tech in sixth in the standings. They sit at 8-5 in the WAC. If all stayed as is, they would be playing Siena Heights in the WAC tournament. And Klein with the buzzer beater. A nice way to finish out the third quarter. And who would have guessed it? Another three-point field goal for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils lead 82-31 after 3. Klein leading the Blue Devils with 18 points scored. Sorry, 85-31. And we got 1 quarter left to play. And we'll be right back on the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. We are back underway here for the final quarter of this match between the Crusaders and the Blue Devils. Ruster, early shot from three, no good. Rebounded by Ashley Ringstad, slows it down a little bit, gives it to Reinhold. Reinhold to Bochnek, unable to make the short two-point shot, but it's going to go back to the Blue Devils anyways. As I was saying, Lawrence Tech in 6th in the standings in the WAC. They'd be playing Siena Heights in the WAC tournament if all stayed as is, but obviously plenty of games left in the WAC to shake things up. The main thing is just to get to that WAC tournament, give yourself a shot to get that automatic berth into the NAIA tournament. And it looks as if Lawrence Tech would have to win the conference tournament rather than the conference in general in the regular season to get that berth. They're 5 games back of Indiana Tech. LTU now with an 87-31 lead. Reinhold tried to muscle it in there. Klein now dribbles up court, gives it to Langhoff. Langhoff's been serving as the backup point guard for much of this game to Kendall Fisher. Done a nice job. Klein getting double teamed. Out to Ruster for 3. No good. It's going to be tipped off Langhoff. Or I'm sorry, it's going to be tipped from Ringstad. Stay with the Blue Devils. Langhoff can inbound it. Langhoff gets it in quickly to Hansen, and she converts. 89-31 now. LTU has just been dominated in every fashion of the game. Field goal percentage, three-point percentage, free throw percentage, turnovers, points off turnovers, leading the points off turnovers battle 20-0. And there's Smith from 3. Can't convert on this great day she's having. She's now 5 for 8 from the three-point line. Sydney Brown staying aggressive. Drive through the lane. Cannot get there though. Or you're gonna get a foul called on the Crusaders. 8 minutes left to play here in the 4th quarter. Don't go anywhere. After this women's game, we'll see both the men's teams face off against each other. Madonna against LTU. Should be a pretty solid game. Fisher gives it now to Smith from 3, and she makes it. Smith now 6 for 9 from 3. Gets to 18 points on the day. Looks like Madonna tried to play a press there, but Lawrence Tech got out of it easily. And there's another turnover there for Madonna. I think it's safe to say that the Blue Devils did not just go through the motions today. Really did not take this game for granted. They knew what Madonna could give them based on their last couple of games. But Lawrence Tech able to work as they always have been. And they're going to get this nice win here today. Buckingham out to Fisher from 3. And Fisher drains it. I don't have any stats here with me, but if I had to say, I would say this is probably a record day from 3 for the Blue Devils. Now 17 from 30. 51 points off three-pointers. And it's going to go back the Blue Devils' way. Taryn Klein, Danielle Hansen going to get a breather. Both with over 20 points scored in today's game. And Buckingham gets the and one to fall. She moves to double digits, trying to make it 11 on the day. Buckingham just under her typical points scored per game on the season, but I don't think she's going to mind, as the Blue Devils are going to coast to what looks like might be a 70-point victory here today. LTU with a 9-0 run over the last minute. There's Bochenek. Cannot convert. Buckingham brings it up, gives it out to Fisher. Fisher drives through the lane, gives it back out to Price. Now to Langoff, and Langoff makes the deep 2. And there's the century mark for the Blue Devils. And this crowd is letting them know how much they appreciate it. Fisher with the rebound. Drives up the court, gonna give it to Ruster. Ruster does not take it, back out to Fisher. Price drives through the lane, muscles it in for 2. Lawrence Tech with a commanding lead. Looks like these 5 are gonna be out here for most of the rest of the game. Each of the teams kind of short benched. Not many other players they could go to. Smith, Klein, and Buckingham, or I'm sorry, Price out on the bench. No, I'm sorry, Hansen out on the bench for the Blue Devils. And they've played 20-plus minutes each. Brown at the line, able to make the second one. Just over 5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Fisher gonna slow things down a bit. Calls a play. Gets a pick there from Price. Drives to the lane for the easy basket there from Fisher. Fisher now at 15 points in tonight's game. Brown brings it up court. Buckingham playing some aggressive defense there. As Ruster goes to the ground, able to force a jump ball. It's going to stay with the Crusaders. Ref talking to the scorers table right now. Davis brings it in. Ball's going to stay with the Crusaders. That 2-point shot, no good. There's Buckingham with the rebound, and Fisher brings it back up. Fisher gives it to Price. Fisher drives, and another basket there from Fisher. Fisher's been dominating this fourth quarter. Blue Devils not giving up in this fourth quarter, though. Fisher driving through the lane. Easy 2-point layup. What a quarter Fisher is having right now. Fisher now at 19 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Ringstead no good from deep. Langoff drives, gives it out to Buckingham. Buckingham for the easy 2-point layup. Buckingham now at 13 points. And Lawrence Tech with a 75-point lead. I think we can all agree that Lawrence Tech was the favorite coming into today's game, but I don't think anybody expected them to win by this much. Still with 3 points left, or 3 minutes left rather. Rachel Price with the defensive rebound. And there's Buckingham now with 15 points in today's game. It didn't look like she'd get to her typical point total. And Fisher with a quick steal there to bring it to 114-35 now. Buckingham now with 15 points, just a point and a half away from her typical 16.8 points per game. Fisher with the rebound, gonna slow things down. Fisher drives, gives it out to Ruster. Ruster for three, off the rim, no good. Price with an offensive rebound out to Langhoff for three, and that's good. Langhoff now with 8 points on the day. 5 Blue Devils with 10 or more points. Langhoff with 8. Will she get there? 82-point lead now for the Blue Devils. Oh. And Davis makes a nice play there. Gets Fisher off her feet and gets the 2-point make. And we're gonna get a timeout here, or a substitution rather. And I mentioned the UNOH Indiana Tech matchup. That was 30-28 at the half. Indiana Tech's now pulled away from that one though. 7 minutes in the fourth. Indiana Tech leads that one 63-39. So it doesn't look like we're gonna get an upset there. Smith back in the game. Langhoff dishes it down to Price, and Price with another layup there. Price now with 9 points on the day. Laurel with the handle now. Gets the moves, not able to make the layup though. We're gonna get a foul here on the Blue Devils. And it's gonna be on Rachel Price. Langhoff guards Bogart. And Bogart is able to put herself at the line. Just about a minute and a half left to go in this one. Lawrence Tech with, I guess you could say, a commanding lead. Not sure if commanding is even a word to describe it. Lawrence Tech gonna get a week-long break. They're going to face U of M Dearborn next Wednesday. Klein with it now. And there's Price in there for another layup. That brings Price to double digits now. And meanwhile, Madonna only going to have a couple days to shake this one off, and they're going to need to because they're going to play at Indiana Tech in their next matchup, and that's going to be this Saturday. Langhoff rushes down the court, gives it to an open Ruster. She's going to take it. 3-point, no good. Bogart with the ball, going to slow it down. Gives it to Davis. Just under 30 seconds left to play here in this one. Ruster with offensive rebound, and it looks like they're just going to drain out the clock. Shot clock turned off. LTU up 121-39. I think most of us expected a win, but they did not expect a win like this. Lawrence Tech going to take the win after losing 3 of their last 4. All 3 of those in single digits. Kendall Fisher had herself a heck of a game. 21 points, led the team. 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Buckingham with 15 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. And your final score is going to be Lawrence Tech 121, Madonna 39. Don't go anywhere. We have the men's teams coming up, same teams, Madonna at Lawrence Tech. Don't go anywhere. That game's going to get tipped off probably around 7:45 to 8. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Chase Kaufman. We'll be back with more Lawrence Tech Sports on the Lawrence Tech Sports Network.